You ever meet someone who was so cheap, just a cheap ass? And I mean, I'm talking, we all know that Jeff is cheap, but I don't even think Jeff would stoop this low. The unemployment choo-choo chugging along towards Christmas Town, Jeff. It's almost Christmas time. And would you be as cheap? Now, we're doing a throwback. Let me start over. I'm all fucking frazzled. All right. All right, Jeff, another week here on the unemployment choo-choo. We're chugging along, and we're running out of coal. So hopefully...
Yeah. The fumes are far and few and in between there. So, But wait, guess what? We're powering through.
We're powering,
right, pal?
Yeah, that's right, pal. That's right, buddy. And you know what? We're powering through. And you know what coal makes me think of, Jeff?
Oh, my God. You're really getting hokey here.
Christmas?
Christmas?
Yeah, you got it. Yes. That's right.
Wow. Yeah, come hire us, everybody.
Yeah. Listen to these awesome teases.
Yeah.
Coal makes me think of Christmas. And you know what makes me think of Christmas, Jeff?
What, Rizzo?
Our Christmas breakup discussion that we had. And I think this is a perfect throwback because this, Jeff, is probably the week that the majority of the Christmas breakups are going to happen. And I actually, I'm against the Christmas breakup. I was against the Christmas breakup. I see the logic in the Christmas breakup. But there are, 31% of men who look to end a relationship before the holidays. It's mind-boggling.
Well, I got to thank you for the percentage. Okay, so I'll make sure I jot that down.
Jot it down. Put it in your Palm Pilot.
Yeah, right into my Trapper Keeper. But I actually had a friend who did this, Anthony Albano. Now, he didn't do this every year, but he did do it once in a while. Say the relationship was kind of new in the beginning.
What's new and in the beginning? 3 months or less?
Yeah, 3 months or less, something of that nature.
Right.
What you would do, you come up with a reason, an argument, something that, turns into like a big brouhaha.
Okay.
So that you have to wind up maybe just putting a pause on the relationship, which is, what he would do. And he'd say, you know what, maybe the holidays we need to just spend time with the family, hang out with our family, do those kind of things. And then, then we'll try. Then, you get back together. You do the New Year's smooch.
Okay.
And then you're back into after the New Year, and you avoid the gift giving.
So what you're saying is your friend Albano, Tony Albano, he would create a ruckus, and he would break off a relationship, maybe over something stupid, and then he would wait until the New Year, and then kiss off the New Year, and then start the relationship anew.
That's what would happen. I'll tell you what, his mom made a very delicious icebox cake, by the way.
Did she? And don't you think it would have been nice to have a nice young lady to share that icebox cake with?
And I also do remember that one time that we were all hanging out, and he slipped in an adult video, VHS, I think it was, and he stopped and wouldn't say anything for about a minute. And we're like, what's wrong, man? And he said, that's my uncle on there.
Wait a minute. Wait. I'm sorry. Wait, so Anthony Albano put in a pornographic video and then said his uncle was the star.
And he was.
Okay. And he would break up with people before Christmas to avoid the gift.
Right.
Now, I don't know if this is a good example, Jeff. This guy sounds out of his goddamn mind. I don't know.
No, I think I just threw you off with his uncle being a porn star.
I think
that's what did it.
It did. Well, here's the thing. If he would tell you, he obviously probably put that video on for many a young lady.
No, he didn't know it.
Oh,
and I didn't. It was a surprise to him.
Wait a minute. So there was a surprise pornography VHS. You were there. Who brought the surprise pornography VHS?
I don't know. We were weird teenage kids. You do those kind of things, and then I guess you do.
Okay. So somebody acquired a VHS, and you guys are celebrating Christmas. You're watching this, but he's silent.
Right. So he's completely silent watching this, and we're like, who is this older guy on here? And he says, dude, I'm pretty sure that is my uncle. And doing the research, his uncle had gone out to L.A. to, try to be like a writer, or you know what I mean.
And then he had to pay the bills.
You want to make it, so you do what you got to do to pay the bill. So we don't believe it anything, right? Next year, a year later, it's Christmas. We're sitting there. Group text message comes in. It's a picture of that man, his uncle, at his house for Christmas.
No shit.
Yes.
No, wait a minute. I mean, I have to ask the question that is on everyone's mind that's driving and listening. Give me detailed description, body, size,
uncle.
Length. What?
He was uncle-bodied.
Okay, so he had dad bod.
He was uncle-bodied, yes.
Okay,
and,
so he didn't have like a six-pack.
Right, but,
okay.
He was the uncle who was, he was trying to make it a little bit so he would semi-work out. But, he's in Hollywood, so you feel like you have to keep up, I guess.
So he was uncle that went to Planet Fitness twice a week to try to, look like he worked out.
Crunch Fitness, yeah.
Okay. And now, clothes, they come off. What do you see?
The women, very good looking, as most of the case. And you know what? A little more than average.
He was?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, how old was he?
I'll tell you what, he had to be late 30s, early 40s.
Was he shaved, or was this during a time when there was,
I mean, we're talking VHSs here.
Okay, so this was not shaved.
So it's hard to put the picture all together. I remember the scenario. I remember the man, mustache, by the way, thin mustache.
Thin mustache.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing you would consider a porn stash, a thin mustache. Yes, I do remember that.
Was he as thin downstairs as his mustache, or was he a little thicker?
If I remember him, I wouldn't think that he would go out of his way. I think he would take the all natural party into, his work.
Now, okay. So, and did he climax?
I don't remember the complete ending.
Okay, I just didn't know, like,
if there was any kind of encore, I don't remember.
Was he? But so did he just walk in? Was it like was he like a handyman? And then like,
it was like at his house. I remember there being like a pool because it was outside. So it was.
So maybe he was there to
pool patio thing.
So he was there to clean the pool, and then the husband wasn't home, and then.
Yeah, or maybe it was his house and they were there for something, or whatever the scenario was. But
why would the hot chicks be at his house? He would have to be at the hot chicks' house. The hot chicks aren't going to go to him. He wasn't that good looking. You said he had dad bod.
Look, I can get a hold of him, and you can set a scene and film whatever you would like.
Okay, listen, I'm because I have Googled. There's a porn star website, or just a website like an IMDb for pornography. Okay. And there's only one Albano. His name is Daniel Albano. Was that his name? Do you remember? Was it Uncle Dan?
I wish. I remembered if it was Uncle Dan.
Was it?
If I saw a picture, I could tell you if that was him or not. That's for sure.
Real okay. So unfortunately, Uncle Dan has the grayed out picture. There is no picture of Uncle Dan.
Okay, all right. So,
Uncle Dan was in 6 videos, Jeff.
Wow.
Uncle Dan was in Tough, Tight Tool Man. Okay. He was in Pool Splooge.
That was probably it.
Pool Splooge 2, which came out in 94.
Yeah, it's right about around that time.
So was it? You think this might have been Pool Splooge 2?
It's possible. It was right around that time. Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess
mid-90s.
And then I guess his coup de grace, his final film before exiting the industry, and I can only imagine why he exited after Backdoor Nasties.
Wow. So he really he took the gamut there, huh?
He must have really been struggling. I mean, he went from doing pool squirts to if you're backdoor nasty. I mean, think about he was backdoor nasty. That was his. I mean, he was the lead guy.
Well, look, that's something where you say, you know what, I've done it all, but I haven't done this. So if I'm going to walk out, I'm going to exit out the back door of this industry, and that's what he did.
So you're telling me that when you leave the industry, you say to yourself, what's one thing I haven't done? And then you go backdoor let's do it.
Well, look, you got to think 6 flicks. So he was asked to return.
You're right. Yes, listen,
I mean, he was
6
in some
flicks.
sequels here. He was in sequels.
And by the way, he was the main character in 5 of the 6.
Yeah.
He was not the main character in the initial Pool Splooge movie or whatever. Okay? But he was a main character in Pool Splooge too. And Backdoor Daddy, listen. He was, the main guy. So maybe it was his house. Maybe he was going in the back door. I mean, if you're the lead, do you go in or are you the back door?
Look, I think that you are the star of the show when it comes to those types of videos if you're the lead and you're being sought after, right?
Right.
So they were coming to his house for something possibly, say they were coming and he was, like a Hollywood photographer.
Okay.
And, and they were coming to model for him.
Okay.
And, he said, if you want to make it to the big time, which, by the way, those things don't work anymore. But if you want to make it to the big time, you have to,
get on
do
the
this
couch.
for me.
Get on the casting couch.
Right. And then Albano.
I was going to say Uncle Dan Albano.
I'll tell you what, taking care of business. And I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. And the story just went away. And then a year later, the text message just came through. And I think it was on Singular. You remember that?
Singular Wireless.
Singular
Yes,
Wireless.
I do.
And boom, that went through. And we all saw it. And we said, it's him. He was standing there in the flesh in the kitchen.
Now, was he in the buff?
He was not. No. He was just a part of the family.
Now, see, is it wrong if you know that your relative is a porn star? Is it wrong to expect and to ask to see?
Well, I always wondered that. Does that conversation ever come up?
It's got to come up. It would come up in my house. If my Uncle Sam was a porn star, which he'd never.
He'd be wonderful.
He would be a miraculous porn star. But I would ask him. I would say, drop the drawers. I want to see what I'm working with.
Yeah, but when you get it, it's the holidays, okay? Kringle's coming to town.
Yeah, so
what?
What?
When you're sitting around with the family, or do you pull them outside after a couple of glasses of Yellowtail, and then ask them?
Oh, that's
like, hey, I saw you, or you pull out the VHS and go, hey,
I know.
I'll
tell you what. I think it's one of two ways. I think you pull him to the side first. If he acts weird, if he's a dick about it, if he's like,
no pun intended.
Right? Yeah, no pun intended. But if he's being a cock, then you say, I'm going to share this with Gam Gam. I'm going to share this with Meemaw. And
because it was under, everybody had the, thoughts that he was out there making his way in Hollywood, being a writer. I think.
He was making his way in Hollywood. He certainly was.
Yes, he was. And he sure as hell looked. Some of those sometimes, and that was at the height, like, the 80s, 90s,
That means
VHS.
that was, first off, that's full bush.
Right.
That's full bush. You have full bush from jump.
It could have even been, I don't remember if it was VHS. I do remember that. But that was in that VHS DVD transition phase. So
let me ask you. You worked at a porn store. Do you still have any connects?
I'll tell you what. I do have some friends. All right, I got a guy, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can find out who this gentleman is and if he's still performing. So many years later.
Well, Danny Albano. Well, no, Backdoor. Backdoor starring Albano was 1997. That was his last flick that I can see.
Yeah, this is totally all around that time. Like, that really had to be it. 90, yes, mid 90s, 97, 90. Yeah, when I was in. Yeah.
So then my question is, do we make it an effort to go find one of these lost classics? Do we make it an effort, and do we maybe share it with the listeners?
I will guarantee that they probably kept it and held on to it because it's just something you do. If you know that it's your uncle, it's the one thing that you slip under the mattress and you hide. But then, when you move, you got to bring it with you. mean, you're the one.